Ladies, we've just heard from Nichelle very powerfully about her own pioneering previous past in television, and you're all being saluted by PBS in a show called The Pioneers of Television. Let me ask each of you what it meant to be a young female actress in the 60s, 70s, coming through, breaking down so many glass ceilings, really, in many ways, in a very male-orientated business. We'll start with you, Linda. Was it as hard as it seems now, looking back on that era?
You've asked the wrong person, because
really?
I've had a career that should never be, because I didn't want to be an actress. I got married. I stopped acting. I'd get the big valley. I'd retire. Then I would divorce. Then I'd work again. So when you say breaking ceilings, I just depended on whether I was married or not, whether or not I worked. It just was not a thing of I'm going to go through, I'm going to overcome this. I was just lucky every step of my career.
Angie, I mean, you must have had it tougher, surely.
Well, it wasn't very difficult, but I had been used to playing the romantic lead and the wife and the girlfriend and all of that, which was fantastic. But here comes a profession that was barely existent. I think there were female cops back to 1912 or something like that.
But Police Woman was the first time, really, we'd seen a female cop in a lead on American television.
That's right.
And that was hugely significant, wasn't it?
So in spite of the fact that they existed long ago, nobody knew about it, and there were very, very few still in '74. And so for me, it gave me a chance to break away from that romantic lead or co-star and be a heroine. And I loved the power and the feeling of being an important woman.
Because there have been so many female cops since, but you were the first and the best for many of us.
Thank you.
And I love the fact that even now you can remember that feeling of power it gave you. It must have been wonderful.
It's the power, and the gun feels good. I'm sorry. And that was the key. I was allowed to carry a gun. I don't think you could carry a gun as a detective.
Oh, no, you had a gun, didn't you?
Did you have a gun, too?
I had every gun known to man. And
you were
I
armed
had...
to the teeth, in my memory.
God, we shot every gun. I remember shooting, a machine gun, everything. The girl from U.N.C.L.E. was, it was a bit camp, because the man from U.N.C.L.E. had been a great success, and we did the most absurd storylines you've ever seen. Only seconded by, only second to a Batman, I think. I was popped out of a giant toaster with Stan Freberg. I had Boris Karloff in drag playing Mother Muffin. There were all these absurd things. So we had an absolutely wonderful time. But we worked. We did 26 episodes in those days. So we worked constantly. Noel Harrison and I were in every shot, as you were with Earl. And
did you feel like you were trailblazing at the time? Did you feel like you were making a bit of a stand here for strong women?
I just felt exhausted. I was so tired.
Too tired to be a trailblazer.
I was far too tired.
When you see the young actresses today, do you think they have it easier, really, than you had it?
I don't think so. I think the competition is much greater. I wouldn't want to be starting my career now.
Yeah.
It's and the longevity is seriously not there.
What's the downside of when you have the kind of stratospheric fame that all of you at different times of your career have enjoyed? What's the downside, would you say? Let's start with you, Stefanie.
I suppose it's the changes in life, When you do a television series that's very successful, and when it comes to an end, in spite of the fact that it may have come to a glorious end or that it was highly successful for everybody, including the network, you rarely work on that network for many, many years to come. It's as if you're a pariah suddenly. Seldom do you get re-employed quickly. I don't know if it's because people feel that the show somehow ended and therefore you were not bankable anymore. It's the calls that don't get returned. Yeah. The realization that, oh, wait a minute, I lost my place in line.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Angie, what's it like? You've been through a lot of great triumphs in your life, some terrible tragedy, which you've talked about frankly before. When you have to lead your life in a goldfish bowl of fame, How much harder is it when you go through the tough times in life, do you think, to be famous and going through it with everybody having an eye on what's going on?
Now you can't breathe without having everything out there. And that's, if you have to have success publicly, it's wonderful. If you have to have pain publicly, it's very difficult. But they don't know the difference. They want to see you either way. So these days with the technology where you can have any picture of anything you want at any time, almost instantly, it's a much tougher world to live in and have to hide your feelings.
When we come back from this final break, I want to talk about cat fights. That'll be you, Linda. I also want to ask all of you what the greatest moment of your life would be.